When this video found you, it wasn't by accident. It didn't just pop up because of an algorithm. It appeared because God knew your heart was finally in the right place to receive what he's been trying to tell you all along. You see, there are moments in life when everything feels delayed, when every door seems closed, and it feels like heaven has gone silent. But that silence is not rejection, it's preparation. God hides certain blessings until you're strong enough to carry them. He holds back opportunities until your character can handle the weight of your calling. Sometimes he doesn't give you what you want immediately because he's still shaping you for what you deserve. This is not a random moment. This is divine timing. God let you go through the waiting season so you could learn trust, endurance, and humility. You didn't miss your moment. You're stepping into it. The pain, the waiting, the confusion. It was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to prepare you. So if you're watching this right now, it means one thing. Heaven has aligned this moment with your readiness. God knows your heart is prepared. Your faith has matured, and your spirit is ready to receive what he's been holding for you all along. When you ask God for something and it doesn't come when you expect it, it's not because he ignored you or forgot your prayer. It's because he's protecting you from receiving something too early. God's blessings are never denied, but they are often delayed until your character matches the magnitude of what you're asking for. Many people think waiting is punishment, but waiting is actually God's classroom. It's where he molds your heart, strengthens your discipline, and teaches you how to carry the weight of the favor you're destined to receive. If he gave it to you now before you were ready, it might crush you instead of bless you. God doesn't just look at your desire, he looks at your development. Doesn't just see what you want, he sees what you can handle. Imagine giving a child the keys to a powerful car. They might love it, but they're not ready to drive it. The same is true with spiritual blessings. God sees the full picture. He knows that premature blessings can become painful burdens. So when he holds something back, he's not withholding out of cruelty. He's doing it out of care. He's ensuring that when you finally receive it, you'll be wise enough, mature enough, and strong enough to keep it. There are seasons in life when it feels like you're being overlooked, but what's really happening is that you're being prepared. God is building the foundation of your character before he raises the structure of your destiny. You might be praying for a bigger platform, but God is working on your humility so your pride doesn't destroy what he builds. You might be asking for a relationship, but he's teaching you how to love yourself first so you don't lose your identity trying to keep someone else. You might be asking for success, but he's strengthening your integrity so that when the spotlight hits, you don't crumble under pressure. Preparation seasons are never comfortable. They often come with silent struggle and a sense of delay. You look around and see others getting blessed, and you start to wonder if God forgot about you. But what you don't see is the private work he's doing in your heart. God works in hidden seasons because that's where true strength is built. The roots of a tree grow underground before the branches ever stretch toward the sky. The same way your faith, patience, and endurance are growing beneath the surface where no one can see. You're not behind. You're being rooted. Sometimes God will even allow certain things to fail because he's teaching you how to handle success without losing your dependence on him. The job that didn't work out, the opportunity that slipped away, the door that closed, it wasn't rejection, it was redirection. God saw something you couldn't see. He knew that if you received that blessing too early, you might have attached your worth to it. He knew you might have made the gift your God instead of remembering the giver. So he slowed it down not to punish you, but to preserve you. Spiritual growth always comes before spiritual promotion. God is more concerned with who you are becoming than what you are achieving. He wants to shape your character to align with his calling for you. When you pray for strength, he sends challenges to build it. When you ask for patience, he allows delays to grow it. When you seek wisdom, he gives you decisions that test it. God answers prayers not by handing you what you want, but by shaping you into the kind of person who can sustain what you've prayed for. Every time you go through a test, understand that it's not just about surviving, it's about qualifying. God is qualifying you for what's next. The tests you're facing are not random, they are divine preparation. Each setback is refining your attitude, each delay is strengthening your faith. Each disappointment is deepening your trust. He's teaching you how to stay humble when you're praised and how to stay faithful when you're overlooked. That's why you can't skip the process. You can't fast forward spiritual maturity. What God is doing in private will one day be revealed in public, but only when you're ready to handle it with grace and gratitude. The truth is, blessings have weight. They come with responsibility. You can't carry a blessing with weak character. You can't handle promotion with a prideful heart. You can't sustain abundance with a selfish mindset. God knows that if you rise too fast, you might fall just as quickly. So instead of rushing your elevation, he refinances your foundation. He's building endurance in you so that when he blesses you, you'll have the strength to stand under the pressure that comes with it. Think about how diamonds are formed. They don't come from comfort. They come from extreme pressure and heat. The same applies to your life. The pressure you feel right now is not punishment, it's transformation. God is turning the raw material of your life into something beautiful, something strong, something unbreakable. He's not making it easy, he's making you ready. You'll look back one day and realize that every delay was a divine setup, every disappointment was protection, and every difficult season was God preparing you for something greater than you imagined. Sometimes God even lets people walk away from you because they can't go where he's taking you. He removes distractions, exposes false motives, and isolates you not to hurt you, but to strengthen you. Isolation is often a sign of elevation. God pulls you away to purify your focus. He teaches you to depend on him when everyone else disappears. That's how he builds spiritual permaturity, through trust, not through comfort. When God withholds something, it's never because he's forgotten you. It's because he loves you too much to give you something that your character can't sustain. Every delay is divine protection. Every not yet is an invitation to grow. The more you trust his timing, the more peace you'll find in the process. Stop comparing your journey to others. You're not late. You're not forgotten. You're being custom prepared for something that fits your life perfectly. God's blessings are tailor-made. They don't arrive early. They arrive right on time. When your heart and character are finally ready to carry them, the waiting room is not wasted time. It's where your faith becomes real. It's where you learn that obedience is more powerful than speed. It's where you discover that what God is doing in you is far more important than what you're asking him to do for you. So while you're waiting, don't complain, prepare. Don't lose heart. Stay faithful, because one day the blessing that seemed delayed will arrive, and it will make sense why it took so long. You'll realize that God wasn't just preparing the blessing for you, he was preparing you for the blessing. There are moments in life when you pray for something with all your heart and it feels like heaven is silent. You wonder if God heard you, if maybe your prayer wasn't good enough, or if you did something wrong. But divine timing doesn't operate on your schedule. It flows according to God's perfect plan. God's timing is not about delay, it's about alignment. When your heart, your faith, and your purpose finally align with his will, that's when what you once prayed for begins to unfold. Divine timing isn't random, it's revelation. It's God saying, now you're ready to receive what I've been holding for you. You see, sometimes the blessing isn't delayed. It's you who's still in the big process of becoming. God won't release what could harm you, even if it's something you deeply desire. He's not ignoring your prayers. He's preparing you to handle the answer. There's a version of you that prayed for it, And there's a stronger, wiser version of you that will receive it. Between the prayer and the promise, there's always a process. That process molds your heart, shapes your mindset, and strengthens your faith so that when the blessing finally arrives, you'll value it, protect it, and use it for His purpose. Divine timing requires trust because God often works in ways that contradict human logic. When you think He's late, He's actually right on schedule. When you think things are falling apart, they're often falling into place. God hides the timeline because He wants you to depend on faith, not predictability. Faith is the bridge between your prayers and His promises. It's what keeps you steady when nothing seems to move. God's timing is like a praise seed. You can't see it growing, but under the surface, something powerful is happening. Roots are being formed before fruit ever appears. Many people give up right before God's timing reveals itself. They stop believing because they can't see progress. But divine timing always comes after perseverance. It's in the seasons of waiting that your spiritual muscles grow. God uses delay to refine your character. He teaches you patience, endurance, and humility because those qualities are necessary to sustain the blessing. The wait is not wasted. It's preparation disguised as silence. Every no, every delay, every unanswered prayer is God positioning you for something far better than what you thought you needed. Think of it like this. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust the process. You water it, nurture it, and wait for the right season. The same principle applies to your life. What you prayed for is growing beneath its surface. It may not be visible yet, but it's not gone. God is aligning circumstances, people, and opportunities behind the scenes so that when everything is ready, when you are ready, it will all come together in divine perfection. There's a reason God doesn't answer every prayer immediately. Quick blessings can fade quickly, but blessings that come in divine timing last a lifetime. When you're spiritually ready, what once seemed impossible will begin to flow effortlessly. You won't have to chase it, force it, or manipulate it. It will align naturally. That's the beauty of divine timing. It feels peaceful, not pressured. When it's from God, it doesn't exhaust you. It fulfills you. Sometimes you pray for something thinking it will complete you, but God withholds it because He wants you to find completeness in Him first. He knows that if you receive it too soon, you might idolize the gift instead of the giver. So He delays it until your heart can handle it without losing focus on Him. God's blessings are meant to draw you closer to Him, not replace Him. That's why divine timing is not just about readiness in circumstance. It's about readiness in spirit. When your heart matures, your perspective changes. You stop asking, why is it taking so long? And start saying, God, thank you for preparing me. Maturity shifts your focus from frustration to faith. It teaches you that waiting is not empty, it's sacred. God is not just making you wait for something, He's making you into something. Every trial, every setback, every delay is part of His divine curriculum. You're learning trust, you're learning surrender, you're learning to let go of control and rest in the fact that God's timing is never off by a second. Divine timing also means that some doors will close, not because you're unworthy, but because God is redirecting you to something higher. Rejection often feels painful, but is protection in disguise. God sees what's ahead. He knows which opportunities will drain you and which ones will develop you. When He says no, it's because He's making room for a better yes. Every closed door is part of His orchestration. What looks like loss is often preparation for divine alignment. When God finally opens the door, it won't feel like struggle. It will feel like peace. Things will begin to align naturally because your spirit will be synchronized with His plan. That's how you know it's divine timing. You won't have to fight for what's meant for you. It will meet you where you are because God has already ordained it to do so. But He won't let it arrive until you've grown enough to walk in it with wisdom. Sometimes God will even delay an answered prayer until your motives are purified. You might think you're ready, but He knows when your intentions are mixed with pride, fear, or insecurity. Divine timing exposes your motives. It reveals whether you want the blessing to glorify God or to validate yourself. When your heart finally aligns with His purpose, that's when things begin to move. You can't manipulate divine timing. You can only mature into it. It's easy to grow impatient when nothing seems to be happening. But you have to remember that the same God who made the promise is also in control of the timing. He knows what's best for you and when it's best for you. The moment you stop fighting His timing and start flowing with it, you'll find peace in the process. God doesn't just want to bless you. He wants to prepare you to sustain the blessing without losing your faith. There's beauty in the wait because it reveals who you are when you can't see the outcome. That's where your faith becomes unshakable. Waiting seasons teach you how to depend on God's presence rather than His performance. You start realizing that the wait is not about getting what you want. It's about becoming who He needs you to be. The more your heart aligns with His will, the less you'll fear the unknown. You'll start trusting that if it hasn't happened yet, it's because something better is still being prepared. When you look back, you'll realize that every moment of waiting had a purpose. You'll see how the delays protected you, how the unanswered prayers redirected you, and how the silence strengthened you. Divine timing will make sense in hindsight because you'll see how everything fit together perfectly. Every disappointment, every detour, every season of doubt, it all led you to exactly where you were meant to be. God's timing is not just about the right moment. It's about the right version of you being ready for that moment. That's why He takes His time. He's crafting you into someone who can handle the blessing without losing the lesson. You may not understand it now, but when the pieces fall into place, you'll realize it couldn't have happened any other way. The wait will suddenly make sense. The prayers you thought were ignored were actually being answered through your growth. Divine timing reveals itself quietly. It doesn't announce its arrival. It just happens when your heart, your faith, and your purpose align perfectly with God's will. And in that moment, you'll realize that you were never waiting on God. He was waiting on you.